Mountaineer fans, welcome to this edition of Mountaineer Legends Pregame, baby. Hey, we're 0-1, but that's okay. Hey, Randy, we're gonna get into it. This show brought to you by Fat Boys Media and Trilogy, and of course our title sponsor, Little General Stores. We can't do this without you.
Thank you, Little General.
Hey, thank you, Little General, right there. There it is, Little General. The mug of the century, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, and Randy, I want to thank you being a part of this gig, man, and making it really special. You know, you're a Mountaineer to the core, and hey, we're gonna have some fun as this year goes on. I promise you that. And we want to welcome everybody in. Make sure you do what you got to do. Like, share, do the whole schmear, and enjoy. Sit back and relax a little bit and listen to us, you know, rant and rave and really look. I mean, come on now.
I know, right? Flying the flag, baby.
We're Mountaineers, Randy, and we're going to talk all things Mountaineer football.
Today we're going to get into, there was a lot of hype and everything. And unfortunately, there was some errors. And I think there's probably a lot of nerves, I would say, coming out the gate. So we'll dig a little bit into, the sights and scenes of what we saw while we were there leading up to the game, during the game. Unfortunately, that rain delay kind of put a little damper on things, of course.
Yeah, it was a curveball.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll go ahead and dive into the team that's coming in Albany this week. And then we want to make sure that everybody is well aware next Friday, coming up to the pit game and really pushing the podcast that's going to be live and some of the legends that's going to be joining us. Really excited to dive into all the things we're going to be talking about today. So,
absolutely, brother.
Yeah.
But hey, let's go back now.
Let's do it.
To the preamble going up into that Penn State game. Man, the hype. I was in Morgantown the whole week before the game, and just got to see the build up, the crescendo, of course, on Friday with the McAfee show and Pat White and the beer truck, Owen Schmidt getting on there and talking junk. It was just a beautiful setup. And here we are, we had 8 months to prepare, and we got in there and we just didn't play well enough to win. And unfortunately, that kind of dampers the whole deal. But for me personally, let me just offer a couple of tidbits, okay?
Yep.
First of all, I got to see some of them 84 guys, in our first drop a week ago. Kevin White was one of our guests talking about, of course, he was the great quarterback of the 84 team. And he was in town. So we were up underneath the alumni tent up there by the football facility and visiting with guys that some of them I haven't seen. Well, I haven't seen Kevin since, 1985. Other than chit chat, so got to see some great dudes and hang out, got to be down on the field in that electrifying stage, man, the fans. Oh my gosh. I saw you running around down there in the end zone. And, hey, you got to do something pretty special.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, my business partner, there was an auction, and one of the things they were giving away, the new Cole helmets, which was awesome, and Charles Godwin, he had signed it. Neil had signed it. They had a bunch of players. But one of the things that they auctioned off was the ability to run out on the field. And he ended up winning that. And he's like, hey, man, do you and Logan want to go out with me? And I was like, oh, my God, that was a dream come true. And it's cool because, again, my first game, I think I was like 10 or 11 years old, something like that, whenever I first went. And I still remember those moments. And it was awesome to be able to run out with such a huge game like this. 40 years since, we had beaten them, all the hype and the electricity that was in the air. And then I had a GoPro camera on my chest, but getting to watch my son run out, and my daughter ended up getting to go with us. She had pom-poms and everything. Like, those are the things, like, that will last forever. Absolutely. I can't even put into words how much that truly meant to even to me. Like I got emotional
Absolutely.
just seeing my kids and thinking about that. It was absolutely amazing.
Mountaineer
Yeah.
memory, brother.
Yeah, it
Is
was.
that, hey,
Yeah.
to
Mountaineer
run out
memories.
on that field, okay,
Yes.
as a player,
Yeah.
you know, in warrior garb,
Yeah.
ready to do battle, and you run
Yeah.
out on that field and you hear the roar,
Oh yeah. Well, especially
right?
those jets that come over. Oh my God, I'm standing there, and then they're like, "The Rockets, red glare," and then they're like, I hear them cheering. I'm like, "What are they cheering?" And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
man, the hair stood up on my
Yeah,
arm,
man.
and the
I'm all
emotion, and
goosebumped up
everything.
right now, pal.
Yeah. Oh my God. That like as a kid, you're playing like high school sports, you're playing Pop Warner, and just like Kevin White, that was such an awesome segment that he had talking about you live for those moments. You're practicing, you want to be the kid in that moment, and you guys got to experience that. And then for me as a fan to experience what you guys get to experience, there is no dollar amount that I could put on that experience alone. Like that, to for me and my family, that was absolutely priceless. And you guys get to go do that. It's just amazing, so amazing.
I
Yeah,
can't. It is. It is. And uh, with that being said,
yeah,
that clock runs out.
yeah,
There's a time that comes that that's done.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so
That's
these
over.
guys that are in it right now, I
Yeah,
really hope, and it's us old guys, us old legends that got to
right,
keep, we got to pass the torch, and
right.
I hope they understand what they're experiencing right now and how good
Yeah,
they got it, and what
right.
a great place to play, and dagnabbit, I don't want to hear these excuses. I don't,
Yeah,
we didn't play good enough, and we weren't ready,
yeah,
and we didn't do this, and we did that. Baloney, man. We're at a
yeah,
high level here. There's
yeah,
no excuse for anybody to come out flat.
yeah,
Listening to you. If I'd have given you a helmet, you'd have
yeah.
went in
Yeah,
there and played just as good as some of them guys. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So you get amped up, you get ready to go, but
right.
that preparation. You know, this game is played between the ears. Okay.
Yes,
And you've got to
yes,
be able to control your emotions. You've
yeah,
got to be able to make good decisions under that kind of pressure. In other words, your practice setting has to translate, the simulation has to translate into the actual event. And
right.
when things don't go right, you know, uh, bad snap, which,
Yeah.
which, you know,
Happened a couple of times. I know
and
Garrett.
but you know what? Everybody's pointing the finger. Brandon Yates saying, "Oh man,
Yeah,
we really miss Zach Frazier." Well, you know
right.
what? It wasn't him. It wasn't
It
on
wasn't
him
him.
now,
No,
right?
actually, and that's what they said. It was actually on Garrett, and Garrett is a very emotional guy, and then he does bring a lot of hype whenever he's on. It gets the guys going, and that's what leaders do, right? They get
Yes.
people to rally around them, and I don't know if it was maybe nerves or the pre-game pressure and Heisman potential hype and all this other stuff, of what this season really could be. But yeah, it was off from the get-go. Like I said, he was sending a guy in motion, and he was calling for the ball before he even got by. I think he was wanting to say as the motion was going to get the ball, but he was calling for it just a little bit too late because again,
Yeah.
Yates. All he's doing is looking back to see for the signal, and when he
Right.
sees signal, he just goes right because he
Right.
has to trust the quarterback. And I think a lot of that will get cleaned up. I think that a lot of people's going to hurry to be like, "Oh, great, here goes our season," but
Oh,
it's a completely different year now, right? And I think this is only something to build off of.
yeah.
So
Everything that occurred in the game is correctable, is
absolutely,
coachable. Okay.
yes, yep,
Uh, I went back and watched it, and we did a pretty decent job in the front, in the trenches.
yeah,
Our defensive front did a pretty good job of
yeah,
of movement. We got gapped a little bit
yeah,
because of timing in some of the stunts and things, but
right,
where we had some issues was obviously in the secondary, and
yeah,
we gave up some really explosive plays, and those big hitters, man, they hurt.
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to turnovers. Turnovers matter.
We said
You
that
know,
last week.
we had just
Yeah.
gotten the ball from Penn State. That's
Yeah.
a big turnover right there for us. That's a
Huge.
momentum right there without it, and then we give it right back, and
Yeah.
it's like, you know, we got to clean that stuff up, and we
Yeah.
will. I mean, there's no question
So,
about that.
and I think I mean, the crowd noise at the beginning was crazy. So, and that's why they ended up having a bad snap. You know, that's why the quarterback was flipping out and going up to the ref because he thought it should have been just a false start penalty because the quarterback, I mean, the center snapped it too soon and he wasn't ready and it bounced off of him. And he tried to grab it because he immediately jumped up and got in the referee's face because he thought it should have been a false start penalty.
Yeah,
But yeah,
but
yeah,
when the ball moves, when the ball snaps, I don't care if it's on the right
exactly.
call or not. It ain't like the right guard jumps. Right?
I
When the
know.
ball
Yeah,
goes, it's
yeah,
live.
it's
So
live.
for him to even whine about that,
I
he
know.
don't understand the rules of football, apparently. I'll tell
Right.
you what he can do. He
Yeah.
caused a lot of problems for us with his feet. You know,
Oh,
we
he
didn't contain
did.
him
Oh my
well. You know,
gosh.
he scrambled around. He picked up an extra 50 yards in total offense. And
Yes.
we need to shut down the run a little bit better. I don't know if we've got to simplify what we're trying to do defensively. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not Leslie. He's got to figure
Right.
that out, you know.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Randy, we just got to do a better job. I mean, we didn't have any sacks, we didn't have any real pressures.
Yeah.
The quarterback's got to feel uncomfortable back there. You
Yes.
got to be in his eye,
100%.
you got to be in his ear, you got to be
Yep.
touching him as he's throwing the ball. He's got to know that there's a presence. You got to hit him a couple times
Yeah.
and get him off his game. And we never really did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know,
I don't
they
know
had
if we need to have a
222
QB
yards of
spy.
rushing. Right?
Yeah. I
You know,
know.
what was it? What's that? Like, I think they were getting about 5.3 yards a carry, and
Yeah.
we were getting about 2.7. You know, we
Right.
only had like 85 yards of rushing. Now we had a lot of negative stuff that
Yeah.
went attached to that, but that's not good enough. We gotta, if you want to win a
Yeah.
game, you got to control the line of scrimmage. That's just kind of basic stuff right there.
Yeah.
And I guess the good news is two things, and you've already said it. Number one, the game's over.
Yeah.
It's not a season breaker. A lot of disappointment for a
Yeah.
lot of folks, right? A lot of disappointment. But you know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm still part of the '84 team that beat Penn State. So I'm one of the
That's right.
9 victories in the 135-year history
Yeah.
of Mountaineer football.
Hell
I got
yes.
one of the victories. And by the way, that Thursday before the game, I was out at Cranberry. That's where I was staying at, and I was going out to Tropics, hanging out, and they had a Penn State rally in there. There had to be 350 Penn
Are you
State fans. There I
serious?
am walking around with my Mountaineer stuff, and the
Yeah.
only thing I could do is tell them, "Hey, I hope it's a good game.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all are great people." And here's my '84 Blue Bonnet Bowl ring. This is the year we beat you guys. So,
Yeah. Right. That's awesome.
oh man, no,
Yeah.
hey,
And I
we're
tell
gonna
you
be
what,
okay.
I tell you what, that blue light, everybody showed up. I mean, the fans showed up. I know Neil was saying, hey, get loud. I was there at 5 a.m. Me and your buddy Bill McKenna, we were out there in the blue light. They opened it at 6. They normally open at 7,
Yep.
but they opened it up at 6. And honestly, by 7, I felt like it was already full in there. It was
I
crazy.
was there.
Right? Oh, man, that was amazing. Yeah.
Couldn't have been a couldn't.
Yeah.
I came up the one side of the stadium where I parked at, and I'm walking up there. Of course, that was right where the Fox set was, and
Yeah.
and that was all a buzz and everything moving around, and
Yeah.
you know, like you said, 7 o'clock in the morning, man. It's no
Yeah.
wonder Penn State didn't want to play us at night.
Right, exactly.
They better
Oh my
catch us
gosh.
at 12 noon.
Yeah. I tell you
no,
what.
it was good time. Just a
Yeah.
shame that storm blew through there and wrecked a lot of people's tents and
Yeah.
did a lot of damage and kind of put a damper on things and
Right.
you know. But hey, we just, you know, the second quarter going into that mess and then coming out when we started the third quarter, you know, that little window of time, you know, give
Yeah.
about 8-10 minutes. we really just didn't get her done. And hey, against big teams like that, big stage,
Right.
excellent football team. They're a good football team.
Yeah.
You can't make those mistakes.
Yeah.
Coach Nealon used to talk about two things. He talked about number one, turnover ratio all day long. And of
Yeah.
course, we were -2. Tough to beat a top 10 football team when you're -2 on the turnover ratio. No, he used to talk about in any given game, there's really only about 5 plays that determine the outcome of that game. Everything else is just getting it done, doing the job, but there's about 5 plays. They're either momentum changers like turnovers, big run, big score, whatever it might be. But those 5 plays are going to come. You just never know when they're coming. So as a player, I gotta do mine, and I gotta perform, and I gotta play at that high level on every single play.
Right.
It's impossible to do, but if you could do that about 85, 90% of the time, and the guy next to you is doing the same, and I could trust that, we build that continuity, and that's the first pressure cooker that we've had. It's all been practice. You don't get a tune-up game. That wasn't like playing, a tune-up game, an FCS school like we're fixing to play this weekend. If we'd have played Albany in game 1 and Penn State in game 2, that might have been a different scenario. Who knows? Hey, regardless, it is what it is. You never know when them plays are coming. So that means the determination is that you got to do your job on every snap. And if something bad happens, you got to respond immediately to it and put out that fire so that you can maintain that level. So short-term memory becomes critical. And our quarterback struggled a little bit in that game, but he's talented, he's smart, he knows his limitations, and he knows his strengths and weaknesses. I think he's just gotta go out there and lead us. From a man to a man. I would have liked to have seen in that second half. I'd have liked to have seen Nico a little bit more than 3 minutes. I'd have liked to. Who knows?
He's another desert rat. He's from Arizona, just like Kevin White is, right? Yeah.
He's got skills. He's gonna get his opportunity. But
absolutely.
Anyway. It's in the history books, and you know what? We ain't gonna play him now for a minute. So like I said, I got my 84 win, and I'm happy.
All we care about is beating Pitt. That's and again, since they've changed it to 12-team playoff, we could still run the table on in the Big 12 to make it to the championships there, and then that could still put you back in it. So again, it's really changed a lot. So before, in the BCS era, you wouldn't lose one game and you're out. Like Alabama might lose late in the season to Georgia, and then they're out, right? So but now all that's changed, so don't go throwing away the season quite yet here. Hang in there, Mountaineer fans.
All of our goals are still intact.
Yes.
Okay. We got the backyard brawl coming up. We got the Big 12 competition coming up. Like you said, the open door opportunity into the playoffs this year because of the expansion. Your goals are all, now here it is. Let's not overlook the Pitt game. We're going to talk about that here in a second. We can't overlook the Pitt game. There's a team coming in this weekend that you take teams like this lightly. This Albany team, I did a little research, as all these other guys do. I look. They're pretty good. They're well coached. Their head football coach was the conference coach of the year last year. They went as far into the playoffs as they've ever done. Now, unfortunately, in the landscape of football today, a team like that then gets cherry-picked a little bit. So some of their better players jump and go to a higher level. That's what we all aspire to do anyway. So I don't blame that from happening. And then you got to turn around and fill that with those guys that are at that higher level that might not be in the mix. They might be that number 3 guy at West Virginia, say, and then they got a chance to go there and be a stud. and maybe make it to the NFL like Albany has put a couple of guys to that level. All right. So don't take these guys lightly.
Yeah, because this is their stage, right? This is their bowl game. This is how they get to that next level.
They're telling their locker room this week the same thing that we were telling our locker room a week ago going into the Penn State game. Right. You're going into Mountaineer land. You're going into their house. You're going under their brand new lights. The stage is set. You're going to get, they're going to bounce back, and we got to do some fixing. We had some issues as the Mountaineer team goes. We got to fix some things. Albany's saying, buddy, you ain't got nothing to lose. Yeah. Let it all hang out. Play your tails off. And something really incredible might happen. You knock off the Mountaineers. We ain't lost to a team. Right. 21 outings I saw that we played one of these FCS teams, and we ain't lost. And you want to go down in history? Huh? You go in their house and you beat them on their turf. That's what they're telling them kids. So you don't think they're not going to come in here jacked? Yeah. Right? What an opportunity for them. To do what they got to do now.
Problem is, it's at night with Mountaineer Magic. We seem to play two different style of ball whenever it's a night game at Mountaineer Field. I don't know what it is throughout history.
It's 8.5 more hours of tailgating is what it is. All right?
Now you got it. That's a secret.
You're still in the parking lot at 7 o'clock.
I'm still there at 7 a.m.
That's 12 hours, baby. Let's go, Mountaineer. Yeah. Right? And it is. It's electrifying. It sure is. But again, those guys are going to come in with wide eyes. Those guys are going to come in, and we will take Albany's best shot Saturday night. Okay? Yeah. We're going to take their best shot. So, hey. Yeah. It's a gold rush. The fans got to be in it, and I'm gonna point the finger at the fans. At that game at Penn State, I only heard the "Let's Go Mountaineers" cheer like maybe one time in the whole first half. Yeah. That's not good enough. You can't be that damn finicky, people. Right. If a bad play happens, there's sudden change. You can't go. You gotta stand up on your feet and get those guys jacked up because bless you. There's another play coming. There's another play coming right now. So get us juiced up. We need the fans. You can't just if it's not going your way. You got to stay in it, man. I need the juice, especially if if there's a lull out there and we don't have the momentum. You know what? You create your own momentum. Right. You create your own momentum with big plays. And big stops and big turnovers and explosive plays and your fans. Listen to them Kansas City fans.
Oh, yeah, last night. Right? Oh, man.
They don't quit. They don't quit. And it gets louder when, they shove Taylor Swift. Man, what a marketing ploy that is. Anyway, I'm just saying, hey, you know what? We better be ready. We just better be ready. And shame on us for and I'm going by Neil Brown's quote. We weren't ready. It's on me. Well, I'm tired of hearing that. I really am, man. We're 6 years deep, and you had 8 months to prepare for that game. So no excuses. I don't hear no excuses. All right. Yep. What I want to see is a dramatic improvement Saturday night in Morgantown.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think obviously, it's a FCS team and we'll play better. Hopefully they work out all the kinks because, the week after that is for a lot of Mountaineer fans, if we only won one game the whole year, it has to be the brawl, baby. It has to be the brawl.
Like, when I got to Morgantown in 1981, I was on campus less than 24 hours, and I hated Pitt. I'm serious. You think I'm kidding?
Oh, no, I don't.
If that's the one game you win,
Yes.
That's the one that matters, man. That backyard brawl. Shame on us for letting it go away for a couple of years.
Oh, I know.
But
Yeah.
kudos for getting it back, because
Yes.
there ain't nothing like the backyard brawl. Nothing like the
100% agree.
backyard brawl. All right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. Of course,
Yeah.
I got my share of stories. And
Yeah. Yeah.
our record back then was pretty solid against Pitt, except my senior year, 85, when we tied them. We tied them up 10-10. That's
Yeah.
before you had tiebreaker. And that kind of
Oh, yeah.
sucked. I mean, that's like kissing your sister.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd have rather lost that game, to be honest with you, because,
Right.
you go out there and kill yourself for 3.5 hours and you're sitting in your locker going, what? I got nothing out of that.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, what a waste of 3.5 hours.
I know. Yeah. Because then that's just it. You want to hold that over them for the next year, right?
Oh,
yeah.
This is big. This is
Yeah.
big. And guess what? That's where we're going to be, brother.
Yeah, baby.
That's where we're going to be. The show's going on the road. That's the Mountaineer Legends pregame show. That's the podcast. Yes. That's what we're all about, man, is taking our show on the road. We're going to be live. We're going to be live, coming to you live from the Sheraton Station Square, right there, overlooking the river and the stadium in the background. All right. We're going to be live up there for the Pitt game. And I got some great co-hosts that are going to join us, big dog. You ready for this?
Are
you ready for this lineup?
Oh, tell me who's coming.
In the house, we're going to have two-time Super Bowl defensive lineman, Big Mike Fox, going to be in the house. College football Hall of Famer, in my opinion, the GOAT. I love Pat White. Kudos to Pat White, but the GOAT in the Hall of Fame, brother. In the College Football Hall of Fame, Major Harris. Of course, he's a Pitt guy. He's from Pittsburgh, so he's got some great Pittsburgh stories to tell. And none other than the legend himself, the legend, in my opinion, of all of us, Daryl Talley, linebacker, 14-year NFL career, on the ballot this year for the Hall of Fame, the Seniors Division Hall of Fame, going to be in the house. And of course, you and me and a bunch of other Mountaineers. Hey, come join us. We want you to come join us. We're gonna do a meet and greet, autographs, take pictures from about 9 to 10, and at 10 o'clock we're gonna do 2 hours, 2 hours on the mic, live, right there, talking all things West Virginia football. We're gonna break down the Pitt game. We're gonna tell some great Pitt stories. We're gonna talk to Daryl about this journey that he's on, trying to get him into the NFL Hall of Fame. And hey, we're just going to have ourselves a good old time in preface to the backyard brawl, which is exciting. And again, we couldn't do this without you, Randy, and your company Trilogy getting on board and helping us put this professional looking podcast together, baby. And of course, our title sponsor there, Little General Stores, Greg Darby and his teams all across the state of West Virginia do a great job in helping their communities. And he got on board to make sure, right here, baby, right there, to make sure we got something special to give Mountaineer fans.
Yeah. We're honored to join Fat Boys Media and get this podcast really going and this show. What time are we going to be kicking off? Are you thinking about kicking off?
From 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
We'll be there. The guys will be there. We're going to be congregating and hanging out, and we'll sign autographs and take some pictures. And of course, again, Daryl Talley in the house and Major Harris and Big Mike Fox. These guys are all fun to be around. They're all good dudes. And of course, you and I, we're all right too. So we're gonna have a good time. And there's gonna be a lot of other guys. There's a lot of guys coming in. And I'm not gonna name drop, but we're gonna have a flow during them 2 hours that we're on from 10 to 12 on our platforms, YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. We're going to have some other guys rolling in, talking Pitt and talking, Mountaineer football and telling some good stories and getting ready to go, baby. So, hey, before you go over to the stadium, stop in, join us. We're at the Sheraton, right there at Station Square. If you want to catch the boat, you got the boat. You could go across the
They
river.
take the ferry
You got
over.
plenty of time. What
Yeah.
time's kickoff? 3:30, right? So you
Yep.
got plenty of
3:30.
time to get
Yep.
over there, hit your tailgates. So stop
Right.
in, have a Bloody Mary,
Yeah.
talk to the Mountaineer legends, and
Get some
hey,
autographs.
get some autographs. All right,
Yep.
meet and greet, have fun. Hey, and if you stick around for the live podcast, what the heck, man? We might
Yeah.
just get you on there. We're gonna have some
Right.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Right, we're
Want
gonna
to have
give
a
away some
camera,
stuff.
a
Hey,
microphone?
I'm bringing some of these little general mugs right here with my mugs. See that? Look at that.
Hey,
Me and
look at
Coach
that
Neal,
mug.
isn't that
That's
special
a
right
beautiful
there?
mug
All
right
right, we
there.
gave these out. This was our golf tournament, 34th,
Yeah.
right? Little general right there, buddy. We're gonna
Yeah.
bring some of these, throw them to the audience. Come out and hang out, and we'll get some Let's Go Mountaineers going. We'll have some fun.
Yeah.
And, yeah, good
Yeah.
stuff, buddy.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some chants that's happening. Some that they can't put on TV, but lots of chants happening that day. And I'm guessing there probably will be a couple of brawls, maybe in the stands. Every time
Hey,
I've ever went to a game, something like that happens. But
two
yeah,
songs I want
yeah,
to hear. I
yeah,
want to hear Sweet Caroline, which they'll play. That's
yeah,
their
yeah.
song.
Oh,
So
that's their
guess what?
song.
Have fun
Yeah,
with that, right?
yeah.
And then, of course, at the end of the game, I want to hear Country Roads.
Country
And,
Road, baby.
right there, that right there says it all. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you a real quick story. I live down here in Southwest Florida, and, a couple of years ago, a buddy of mine brought his band down, Rick Kay and the All-Nighters. And
Oh,
they were
Rick,
playing.
yeah,
Yeah, Rick. And
yeah.
they were playing right here in Venice. So I hollered at him and I said, "Hey man, let me come up there and hang out, listen to you play." And it's a bunch of retirees, so there's a lot of older folk in there, a lot of blue hair, and everybody's just sitting in their chairs listening. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden he breaks into Sweet Caroline, and of course the first refrain, I yell, "Eat Pit." Right?
Yeah, right.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean it up. This is a family watch podcast. But
Right,
you know
yeah.
what? Even the little
Yeah.
kids know it's Eat Shit Pit. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
There it
exactly.
is.
That's
I
right.
said it. I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
that's
what it is. Well, I
it
yelled
is.
that out. I'm in the back of this room, and I yelled that, and it went. Everybody's just like, what? And
What's happening?
Rick kind of pulled the mic down, and he saw it was me back there, and he laughed a little bit, and he started singing again. But hey, it's it is what it's an incredibly deep-seated rivalry that matters to West Virginians, and it matters to Pitt fans.
Oh, it does.
I mean,
they act like it doesn't sometimes, but it 100% does. They put up billboards after the whole 2007 debacle and everything, so you can't tell me it doesn't matter to them, especially with this whole realignment that they done, where you have California teams out west, so you don't have these border rivalries basically that we used to have, right?
Yep.
It was those
70 miles
because I wanted to say, we beat Maryland like we used to. Maryland, Virginia Tech, the Black Diamond Trophy, and Pitt. I mean, those were three that we had to have every year that I wanted to beat. I don't care if we beat anybody else, but those were must wins for us year in, year out, So, and then Penn State used to be back in the day, but now, like I said, it's been 40 years. A lot of the people don't even realize how big a rivalry that used to be. And again, it was border wars. It's border wars. Yeah.
A must win. When you look at a schedule, the must wins, those three teams that you just talked about, they were all in our schedule. They were all big games.
Oh, absolutely.
These are big games. The must wins are the Ohio Universities, no offense to them guys, and the Albanys and the James Madisons. Those are the must wins. You got to win those.
Oh, yeah.
And then you got, you know what I mean? So those are big. This is a big game for us. This is a big game for us, and it does matter. It's not a conference game, but it's one of the powerhouse conferences. It's big time stage. So hey, we're excited. We just like you and I right now. We're talking Pitt,
Right.
come on, guys, don't overlook Albany.
Yeah, exactly. Just take
You
it one
know,
game at a time and keep focusing in on the little things. I know we keep bringing that up, but it's so true. You practice little things over and over to where it's just reactionary, right? And that's really the key. But all these little things added up. Even in the Penn State game, the first thing whenever they ran into our punter when he was punting the ball, and then they didn't throw a flag, didn't do anything, trying to say he blocked it, and that just that one thing, if they would have called that, that's a momentum shift. That's different things. When they were trying to push, they were doing the tush push and trying to push Garrett Green over where it looked like he got enough to get it, but then they did a very poor ball spot, and then we didn't get it, and we were down on the 15. If we get that, we go in. That changes the course of the game. Although they
sure.
did it later in the game, that happened with us where I don't think that we got the first down, but they gave us a favorable ball spot. But it's those little things that end up having massive impacts throughout the game because it changes the course of it. Even last night with the Kansas City game, his toe was only over by that much to tie up the game at the end of the game. It could have been 27-27. They were going to try to go for two, though, but just that little bit. So it's amazing how all these things stack up and add up. So you can't overlook the small things.
Ever,
That's very important.
ever.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will add to that though is, the examples shared involve the officials.
Yeah.
You can't. Those
Right.
officials are going to botch calls. They're going to make judgment errors. They're humans.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
that can't be what you hang your hat on in a game, because
Correct.
that's gonna you got to be able to control what you can control. You can't
Yeah.
control the officials. That's the coach's job. And
Right.
and he's got to be able to work that, so like that one call that we got later on,
Yep.
that might have been a makeup call. Who knows how that works in the
Right.
psychology of it.
Right.
But the
Yeah.
bottom line is as a player, I can't point the finger at the officials,
Right.
because that, you know what I mean? That's going to happen. So you got to you take care of what you can take care of. Control
Right.
what you can control. And
Yeah.
and I'll even take this and say, you mentioned about, you simulate and practice, then you go out in a game. So it's a reaction instead of but even that, it's more of an action. In other words, what I'm trying to say is the better you prepare and the better you are prepared,
Right.
that you make a decision that's proactive. In other
Right.
words, you that decision and the belief that you can make that play.
Right.
So you make the decision to go get it and
Right.
go make that play. Don't
Right.
go make that block. Go, give that little extra effort. I can do that now because I'm well prepared.
Yeah.
And
It's that muscle memory. That's what
Yeah,
you're
it is.
training your body to do, right? How many
Yep.
times does receivers try to keep their toes in bound and then just catch the ball? Like
That's right.
that, you practice that all the time. So that way when in the game, like you said, it's just boom, I got it.
You make it happen.
You're building that
Make it
confidence
happen.
in yourself, right?
And I tell you, that confidence that you said,
yeah,
that's the B word, believe.
believe. Yeah.
You have to believe. I know in 1984, walking around that building from all week long, from the start of that game to the very end of that game, there was never anybody in our locker room or on our sideline that did not believe that we were going to win that game. And that includes the fans.
Right.
The entire, from start to finish, we believed that we were going to win that game. There was no doubt. And when DJ Dozier broke through there and ran 60 yards up the middle, and easily it could have went, and it could have broke. No, there was never a doubt that we were going to come back and overcome that. So that's an attitude that these guys need to keep honing and keep the belief that they are what everybody's telling them they are and what we're hearing they are. This is a special football team we keep hearing. Don't hang your hat on this one game. Okay, proof is in performance, not prediction. So get out there Saturday night and kick Albany's ass back to New York. Okay?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Well, And we'll do probably a little recap next week about this week's game and what we're doing. And then again, we're hoping to see you guys next week at the Sheraton, 9 a.m. Come see all the boys, bringing back the legends. It's going to be an amazing show. So,
yes, sir.
I guess we'll see you guys next week.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, Randy. Hey, let's go.
Okay. Mountaineers.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Hey, have a great weekend.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Hey, Big Joe's here. When I'm in West Virginia doing my traveling and having some fun and visiting some folks, man, I stop at Little General. For all my needs, fuel, convenience, it's the quick stop that you need to take. And down here in St. Albans, look over here, man, they even got a Dunkin' Donut. So, hey, when you're out there, man, support them. They support their communities all around the state of West Virginia. Hey, thanks, Little General. Outstanding job.